everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. This is the Busta bag by Simply Classic that we're making today. This is adorable. Look at that. It's a small but mighty bag. You have a twist lock in front. You have grommets on the side that are easy to put in. Easy. These are Chris's snap or press in grommets. They're easy. I was kind of surprised. Gate rings, and then the handle that we make. And then you open it up and you've got a zipper in the back, a good sized zipper pocket. And in the front you have a big slip pocket, big enough for cell phones today, and 4 credit card slots. And then on the inside, I have everything I carry already. I have my eyeglass case, my purse pouch, my Jordan pouch, and there's room for my hand sanitizer, and I have a little notepad that I've started to carry to jot down ideas, you know. I'm always thinking. And it's actually pretty easy. I would say the hardest part of the bag is stitching these curves. You just have to go a stitch at a time and take your time. Now, the pattern does come with an option for a gate ring. I mean a chain that you put on with your gate ring. I personally think it's a small enough bag that I like the shoulder option. And because it's a wide strap, it stays there. It's perfect. So go get the pattern and let's get started. I'm going to see if she'll give a brief discount for probably a week or so after I launch the video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to look in the description for the code if there is one. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening and watch the video. Hi, everyone. This is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs, and I'm getting ready to do the Busta bag by Simply Classic. The Busta bag by Simply Classic. This is a new pattern, and it has 2 handle options, and I think it's a fairly quick sew. We'll see. I am using some Kaya faux suede. So this is the one piece, and I have Lux Fuse on it. The seam goes together in the back. Very interesting. Okay, so that's piece 1. The upper lining is the same. It's on the inside, but I did use some of the Kaya. This is I believe it's the Merlot or the wine. I can't remember. I'll go look. For the upper lining. And it also has Lux Fuse out of the seam allowances. The flap also has, one of them has Lux Fuse and the other does not. They're both the Kaya. And then I have 2 lining pieces out of black nylon. I think that one's from Wonderground Fabric. The Luxe Bonded Nylon, I believe is what it is. And then I have a slip pocket out of the nylon. I have a zipper pocket out of the nylon. I have 2 credit card slots. One, let me show you. One is this dimension and one is this, and I'm using Chris's from Simply Classic, her credit card fabric, which is a real smooth, thin nylon, but it has adhesive on the back. If you have not tried it, I recommend it because it's very easy to use. I like it. And then I have for the slip pocket, I have a accent piece. I have 2 handles. The way she does the handles on this is very interesting. So we're going to do it that way. One is longer than the other, but there's 2 pieces. And then I have a zipper overlay, which I haven't cut out the center for yet. And I believe that's it. And I'm using antique gold zipper tape. And actually, Chris sent me some hardware, which was fantastic. 2 gate rings, antique brass. 1 zipper pull, antique brass, number 5. Oh, there's a key fob piece. I'm not sure I cut that out. I'll have to go cut that out. A D-ring for the key fob. 2 1.5 inch swivel clasp, 1 twist lock for the front flap, and then 2 gate rings. And then because this has 2 handles, I'm doing the one out of fabric, but I'm also gonna, when I sell the bag, I'll just use both of them. Very cute. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is do our strap. The one thing, make sure when you put your tape, I divided these pieces are 3 inches. Divided it down the middle and put a piece of 1/2 inch double-sided tape because we're folding them into the center and gonna leave that each piece raw edge because we're putting them together. But if you don't want your needles to get goopy, I would just leave it about 1/2 inch from each end. I didn't do that, so I had to go fix it. So now we're just gonna put those right sides together and sew it with the seam allowance in the pattern. And I am using the Swagalicious Tech 70 from Size Swag. So we're gonna see what my stitch length does. Okay, hold your threads. That's just for me. I went over my tape. That's all right. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then we are going to fold those down and top stitch. So you can pull the tape back a little bit. And press your seam down and it'll hold just a little. You just need a little. And then we're going to top stitch on either side. Now I am using Thor today, primarily because I just didn't want to go back and forth, and there's some of this that I want to use Thor for. So I thought I'll just use him from the get-go. This Swagalicious, I'll show you, it looks really good with this. This is Kaya. I think I said that in the opening, but let's see. I love it. All right, now we are going to fold those in on themselves into the center. This ends up being 1.5 inches. So you need 1.5 inch swivel clasp. Now you can choose to make it anything you want, but I think it'll look good. You know, if you don't know Krista's patterns, they're very, how she does things is just, you learn something new all the time. Trying to find my swivel clasp. So before you do anything else, you want to put your swivel clasps on. And you can just put them on just so they're on there. It doesn't really matter yet. Okay. All right. So after you get your silver clasp on, you have to do the same thing on this end and sew that together at the seam allowance in the pattern. And then we're going to top stitch that too. Same routine. Probably would be easier to do this before you fold it in, but no harm, no foul. Oh, my thread came up. That's all right. No big deal. There we go. It got caught. Okay. Now we will fold that and top stitch 1/8 of an inch on both sides. So let's refold that down. The key is just to make sure you already have your silver clasp on. So you want to, and she tells you, if you, the natural fold is for that seam that we created to fall about 1/2 inch down on both ends. Let's see how it works. Oh my. Yeah, that's about perfect. And then you just want to make sure the sides are nice. I'm going to use some Wonder Clips for this. Are nice and together and even. And then we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Yep. So I'll do this on fast forward. All right, so you have it clipped all the way down and it's nice and even. Now let's just do 1/8 of an inch. And I think I'm gonna pull it to the back. Let me get that out of there. On the inside of the strap. And then we're going to get as close to our hardware as we can and then turn. And one more stitch. And then I'm going to turn, let me get these off of here, and go backwards just for a few stitches. I don't think I'm going to do that. Hold on. I got to get a piece of vinyl. Let me grab a piece of vinyl. I didn't have a piece of vinyl, so I'm using a piece of Deco Heavy. Just to protect your hardware and really your vinyl too. Anything really will help, will do it. Same thing up here. We're going to get as close to our hardware as we can. Turn and go straight. And then we're going to come back and protect your hardware. Yeah, I'm pulling my threads to the back of this. You don't have to do that, but because I'm using contrasting thread, I wanted to. You'll still see a little bit of this, but it won't be much. Okay, perfect. Now I'll just tie those off and then I'll burn the ends. And I'll probably do 3 knots. Probably 2 would be sufficient. Whoops, I lost my knot. Actually, I'll just do 2, but then I'll burn it. I'd much rather have a little knot on this side and not have any visible start and stop on that. So there it is on the good side, and here it is on the back. So there you have a beautiful strap. I love it. All right, next step. All right, so the next step is to take your main piece that has your Decaville light, whatever you choose to put. I put Lux Fuse. And you're going to put that back piece right sides together, and we're going to sew that with the seam allowance in the pattern. Okay. All right, I just decided to draw my seam because my seam marks here, I had a little PCL tape, but it wasn't accurate, so I just drew it. Not a big deal. So right sides together, it's going to create a tube. Now, here is why I decided to use Thor today. I don't know if it's going to help me or not, but we have to, and I'm going to use a little bit of tape to hold my seams down. We're going to top stitch this, and it's kind of in the tube. So I think it's going to be easier with Thor to do it. Plus, you know, I don't want Thor to feel like I'm neglecting him. So I just put some tape there, and I'm going to fold those seams over so I don't have to fight that when I'm working on doing the top stitching. So there's one side. Let's do the other. You know me, anything that I can do to make it easier, I'm going to do it. All right, let's see. Let's turn it right side out and see if it's easier on Thor to do our top stitching. We'll see. I think it's going to be. I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong. Maybe not. You know what? I think I'm going to take this off, though. My little table. I think it might be easier without that there. Let's see. Grab my threads. Yeah, a lot easier. All right, let's top stitch. 1/8 inch on either side. Oh yeah, much easier. Even though you have a bunch of fabric here, it's still gonna be easier to do it this way, for me anyway. It's not a huge seam. You know, was that easier? I think so. It probably would have been just as easy on the fabricator. I don't know. Stitching inside a seam like this is never easy per se. So there's one row. Let's do the other one. I want to make sure I'm not catching anything I'm not supposed to. I honestly think this is easier. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was easier. So, but if you don't have a cylinder arm, just, you know, do how you normally do on your machine. So there's our top stitching. All right, next. All right. So I turned it wrong side out again. And we want to find the center. Here's the back center that we just did the seam. We want to find the back center. So make sure you got everything nice and straight. These should be straight, and mark the center on the bottom and the top. Okay, and then we are going to fold those centers together and clip the bottom, because we are going to sew across the bottom. Now the bottom has a different seam allowance, so pay attention to that. And then we will box the small corners. Okay. You know what? And I gotta find this is bad news here. Okay. I think I have these. What my seam allowance is on my machine. I need to put a piece of tape back there. Alright, I got off a little bit here, so I'm going to just go over that real quick again. I just want to have a straight bottom. Okay. Now we are going to box our little corners. Now these are tiny little corners, so just fold your bottom seam one way. Don't worry about trying to open it. Just make sure it's going to fold the same way on both ends. And then we're going to just do the same seam allowance that we just did on the bottom. No idea. Oh, my pen fell. That's what it was. Okay. And then she does suggest that you trim that by half. That seam allowance. Okay. Beautiful. All right, next step. All right, so turn it right side out. So this is the back with the seam. There's your bottom. And like I said, it's not a very big bag, but I think it's plenty room for what most of us carry. There's little box corners. All right, we're going to set that aside for just a minute, and we're going to do the top flap. So I have my right sides together, and we're going to sew the seam allowance in the pattern along 3 sides. Okay. Just go slow. There's little curves on this, so just go slow. Let me see something. Yeah, that did good. Perfect. All right, then we're gonna obviously trim this. Those are my trimming scissors on these nice curves here. And you know what? I think I'm gonna trim all the way across the bottom. And then I am gonna put another row of stitches. Just outside that first stitch. Oh, I didn't hold my threads. Did you see that? Yeah, I didn't do it. It's all right. It's okay. Okay, I got it. You gotta hold your threads. It just took me a minute to fix it, but it's, man, not worth it. You saw that, just one little time of not holding your threads. That's the one thing I don't like about sewing, honestly. All right, now let's turn that right side out. I trim those, put another row of stitches. Get that nice and turned, and a little top stitch. All right, so now I have my turned and wrong sides together, and we're just going to do a top stitch. Hold your threads. 1/8 inch. It's going to go slow. Beautiful. Love it. Now, I think I'm going to, right now, I'm going to put my tag on. And I'm going to do it on the front, kind of on the side. So I'll go do that. All right, so I put my tag in the front. I did put it down here. I just thought it looked better down there rather than up here. Now, because we have our center marks, the seam in the back is the center. Make a center on your flap. And we're going to attach that right sides together. So mine's the same. So I'm just looking to see which is the nicer side. It really doesn't matter. Thor does a beautiful job. So we're gonna clip that in the center of our seam and just baste that in place. And this is another reason Thor is a beautiful thing. This will be easier on Thor, but I gotta hold my threads. Okay, now the outside is done, so we will set that aside. So this is how it's gonna look. So you have your flap and your flap's gonna come over there. We'll put the turn lock in probably last. All right. All right, so we're gonna do our slip pocket now. Now the slip pocket is not square. It has one longer side by 1/2 inch. So that's where you want, this is the longer side that we're folding up. This is the shorter side. And now we're gonna just sew that, both the sides at the seam allowance in the pattern. Now, if you're using cotton, you could probably iron this and it would be fine. But this nylon, I don't like to iron it. It leaves shiny marks. I know. Okay, let's just close that with 1/8 of an inch. Let's see. That seam is not going to be seen because it'll be under the accent piece. Beautiful. I'm going to trim my threads though. Just so they don't pop out underneath my accent piece. All right, now on my accent piece, I did divide it down the middle and put a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch double-sided tape down each side. And now we are just going to put those. And the first side is just barely to my line. Barely. And then we'll fold the other side over. So it's matching. Perfect. Perfect. And if there's any excess, we'll trim that off. Okay. Now let's just stitch 1 stitch. You could do 2 if you prefer. And then trim off the excess on the side. Almost all designers are doing this now. I love it because it really does look good, I think. Okay. And then burn any threads just so they stay where you want them to be. So there's your slip pocket. Now, we're going to do the credit card slots next, so let me get those ready. All right, so both of your credit card slots, measure down what she tells you to in the pattern and put a piece of double-sided tape. And then we're going to add your lining, or how I'm using this self-adhesive. It's wallet lining. It works great for credit cards if you can get it undone. It's just me. There we go. Because it's so thin, and you're going to add it to your pieces. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. And you cut it differently than your piece, so it only goes to that line. So we're going to do that on both of these pieces. And if it comes wrinkled like that, don't worry about that, because once you take the adhesive off and you put it on, it's nice and smooth. Plus it's on the inside. So those aren't really wrinkles. It's just, it has a memory. All right, so now you're gonna take that 1/8 inch double-sided tape and fold those down. Just like that. On both your pieces. And then we're gonna top stitch. Perfect. Grab my threads. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Okay. Same thing. Okay. Now these go on your slip pocket. So let me read the pattern. All right, so I'm going to use one of my Sew Tight magnets to keep this in place until I get it stitched. So she tells you how far to come up from the bottom, and I just marked my centers. Be really careful with these Sew Tights because they're very, very strong. Sorry. And now we're just going to stitch across the bottom. Okay. Hold your threads. And don't worry about this being seen on the other side, because if anybody's looking down there, they will see it. But who's going to look down there? No need to look down there. That's what I say. Uh-oh. These Sew Tight things are so strong. I love them, but you have to be careful. All right, so now on your straight piece, measure in what she tells you to on each side, and we're gonna add that to the bottom, and I'll show you here. And you just want to make sure that you're covering this top right here with your bottom card slot. So now we're going to sew down this side and this seam. Hold a second. All right, so I got confused a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to do the sides and these two lines and the side, because when we sew it on, we'll catch the bottom. And I just back stitched a little there. Over the card slot, that's it. Just to make it a little stronger. Okay, let's do it on this side. Same thing here. And then I'm just gonna burn my threads just to make sure there's nothing sticking up. Okay, and then we're going to do the two in the middle. My tension seems a bit tight. I'll have to work on that. Okay. All right, let's burn some more threads if we need to. So that's what you have. Let's get a card and test it, but that's what it looks like from the back too. All right, hold on. All right, so my card slots fit beautifully. Now we haven't closed this bottom edge, so if we put them in too far, they'll just come out. So we don't need to do that. Now grab your lining, mark your centers. And we're gonna measure down from the top what she tells you to in the pattern. And I'm just going to use my magnet here to keep it in place. It'll be interesting to see if it'll hold it with all those layers. It's kind of hard to do it on an uneven surface, so hold on and I'll show you. So that's what you have. What she tells you to in the pattern. Now we're going to just sew down the sides across the bottom, and I'm gonna get my big clip here out, just so I know it stays there. There's a lot of layers for that little sew tight magnet. Okay, so down the sides, 1/8 of an inch. And across the bottom. and back up. Perfect. Okay. And then if you have any little threads, burn those. Shouldn't have any really. All right. So there you have 4 card slots and a nice slip pocket. Cute. All right, so take your other lining piece and we're gonna add our zipper overlay a certain distance down from the top, and we're gonna stitch around the outside edge. I am gonna pull these threads to the back. The back personally. You can do what you want. So there we go. There's our zipper hole. And now we're gonna do our pockets. You have your zipper, and I went ahead and put my zipper pull on. Get the tape to come off, paper off the tape. And then this is the right side of my fabric, and this is the right side of my zipper. We're gonna lay that right side up. And there's another little piece of paper, for heaven's sakes. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna let that overhang just a little. Okay. Now we're gonna do quarter seam allowance. No secrets there, really. And then we're gonna fold that over and do, just like I always do, a little basting stitch there just to keep it nice and flat against my zipper pocket. I didn't even back stitch there. Just needs to hold it. If you have material you can iron, I would recommend you do that, but there you go. Now we're going to repeat that on this side. I had a little tear there, so you'll never see it once this is all sewn together, so I just put some tape there. And just make sure that your sides line up on your pocket. And sew that with a 1/4 inch. You guys, it's supposed to be like 95 for the foreseeable future down here, so. It was really cloudy and rainy this morning. Otherwise, I would have been in the pool, but Tony's out there working. So I'm checking on him, taking him water, making him rest. He's an old man. No, he's not. He does really good. All right, so you should see the wrong side and the right side of your zipper. That's exactly what you want, and that's what it looks on the inside. So your nice pocket lining is on the inside. All right, so now we're gonna put some more double-sided tape. And we're gonna attach our pocket. Your zipper float is going to the left. And we're going to attach our pocket nice and even. And then take the tape off the other side. And lay that down nice and even. Oh my, I don't think I could have done that better if I tried. So your zipper pocket lining is splayed out, and we're gonna stitch around the inside box, and I'm going to pull those to the back, so I'm not gonna back stitch. Here we go. So there you have your zipper. Now we're going to pull those down. And you will have some extra, and that's okay. All right, so I trimmed it. It's about an inch. I trimmed off that one piece. Now we're going to right side up, and we're going to close the sides. And we are leaving the bottom open so we can close the bottom of the bag through it. And I am going to fold this up just a little. Okay. And when I mean fold that up, you'll see what I mean in just a second. Let's do the other side. Okay, I'm going to cut off my excess zipper on both sides. And just burn that so it doesn't fray. Okay, so here's what I mean. So we folded those up, and now when we go to turn it, we get a nice edge there. just like that. Okay. Next. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is our key fob. So you're just going to take your piece and put it right sides together. You could put a piece of double-sided tape down here. It's just, I don't think it's necessary. Let me find what the measurement is. Let's see. Yeah. And then you're, from the raw edge, you're going to sew a certain distance that she tells you to in the pattern. And then we are going to trim this. And so we're going to trim this 1/8 of an inch next to our seam. I gotta get my little pad. All right, so I trimmed it 1/8 of an inch from that seam. I'm gonna put another seam. I just personally like the way it looks on the folded edge. And then we're going to fold that over and add a rivet to that. After we add our swivel clasp. So pick a side you like the best. For me, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to add a rivet right there. I've got to go get one. All right, so attach your key fob, and it doesn't matter if it's the one with the zipper or this one. It's going to be in the seam. But I put it about a little over 1/2 inch down from the top, and I just basted it in place. And then on the back, where we're going to sew these, she tells you to measure down what she tells you in the pattern from this edge right here, and we're going to start and stop sewing there. I know. See? You learn something new every time you sew a bag with Chris. So I'm going to clip these sides together, and then we're going to sew the seam allowance in the pattern. And we're going to start at one seam allowance, and as we go down, we're going to gradually get a little bigger seam allowance, just like most bags. No, I mean most bags, not all bags, because some designers have their seam allowances bigger in the pattern pieces. Okay, so we're starting and stopping with that seam allowance in the pattern. You know what? Hold on a second. Okay, I decided to use my little seam guide. Why not? I hardly ever use it. So, let's do it today. So I'm starting down, holding my threads. just going to get a little bigger as I go down. So I just want to, I'm going to show you real quick here. So we started and stopped about a 1/4 inch from the top. I know it's kind of hard to see. We're going to repeat that on this side. Got my key fob here, so it's a little bit thicker. Now I'm going to lift that up. Okay. All right, so you can see, if I can get it open for you, that we didn't sew that little area right there. And she wants us to iron these open. Mine will never iron open, but I am gonna just finger press them and see how I do with that. I could use some double-sided tape. Maybe I will. All right, so what I did was I just put piece double-sided tape just to hold those seams down. Since I'm using Luxe nylon, I really can't, it won't stay ironed. So now with our upper lining piece, that is the outside fabric, you're gonna put it right sides together and you're gonna sew that seam at the seam allowance in the pattern. Oh, that clip broke, huh? And I'm using my seam guide. I should probably use that more often. What do you guys think? That's what it's there for. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing we did on the outside. We're gonna flip that and top stitch on both sides of that. This is gonna be a lot easier. And just splay your seam open and we're gonna top stitch. You know, that seam is already coming loose. Oh dear, hold on a second. I don't like that, it's already coming loose, I don't know why. Here we go. I dropped my scissors. I gotta get my scissors. My little baby scissors. This chair is up so high and I'm so short that when I bend over, I about fall out of the chair. Don't worry. I did do that once when I first got this machine, but I've kind of gained a little strength and so it's not happening again. All right, that's why I have that claw clip too thing. All right, here we go. Stitching on both sides. Top stitching. And I'm just gonna go across and back down. Okay. Here's another bag you do it like this. All right. So you want to leave this piece right side out. And we need to find the center. There's one center where the seam is. We need to find the other center. I'm gonna mark the centers on both sides. Okay, now this can be a little confusing. So I want my zipper pocket to be in the back. So that's where I'm gonna put my, this seam in the back, okay? And you want these are on the top. So when you put it in the bag, you want those down. It's a little confusing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clip the back, and I'm just gonna make sure that it's right before I do anything else. Okay, so when I have that clipped, and you can see my little humps are down and the right sides are together. So when I do this and I lift it up, yeah, that's exactly right. All right, now I'm gonna go over here and clip the center here. I'm hoping this fits good. I followed all the seam allowances, so we'll see. So interesting, the little hump. Oh, I see. I got it. Okay. Just clip it all in place. All the way around. It fits very well. I mean, it fits perfectly, actually. I'm actually surprised. I surprised myself. Sometimes I can follow directions, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that didn't work out so well. Okay,
Let me double check something.
Yep, that's right. So you see these, the points here on the sides where your fabric was, that upper lining piece. You want to make sure that this piece on the lining meets up with that. Okay, so that's what is interesting about this whole scenario. It divides a little bit, and you want to make sure that you have your fabric reaching up to that point. Very interesting, and it does. Whoop. As my clips go flying. Okay, now let's stitch this at the seam allowance in the pattern, and it's different, so I'm gonna mark my fine here. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. So this is what you should have with the inside. Look at that. So freaking cute. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna top stitch, and I'm gonna turn it right side out. And we're gonna top stitch on this upper lining piece. So you want that seam, let's see, I think I'll start over on one of the sides. Hold your threads. Okay. And kind of roll it, make sure your seam is underneath there as you go. have hit the table. This is much easier as cylinder arm. I knew there was going to be spots on here that would be very easy on Thor. I'm just reaching under there and making sure that seam is behind my upper lining. So that's why I'm going slow. Honestly, it doesn't matter, I don't think, but it looks good. It looks very good. Oh my gosh, so that's what you have. So that's the back of my bag, and this just ends up being the front, and you want these little mountains to be on the side. Isn't that cute? All right, next step. All right, so put your, turn your lining back where it's wrong side out. And here's my zipper pocket, and here's my inside, my outside piece that I put on the inside. So they're now right sides together. And she does make a point of, if back here where your seams are, you've got your seam for your outside piece, and you've got your flap, and then you've got your lining seam. So there's a lot of layers there. So if you don't think that's going to work, she says just flip it. Put the upper lining seam in the front. Thor, I think, can handle it. We'll see. And then we're just going to clip all the way around the top and sew that with the seam allowance in the pattern. I'm just looking on the inside too. Well, that looks pretty good, actually. All right, I am gonna trim just a little. On these curves. You don't want to over trim, you know. I tend to over trim. So I've kind of tried not to do that of late. Now, you gotta be really careful because it's thick back there. It's thick back where the flap is. That's what I was talking about. Okay, let's see. All right, let's turn it right side out. You notice we're leaving the whole bottom open. Thank you, Chris. Oh my, that turned out really good. All right, poke those points out. I'm just looking at my flap to make sure I caught it all. Let's turn it inside and see how we did. Yeah, before you turn it, that's why she leaves the whole bottom open. Make sure you get those curves really pointed out right there. I didn't do that on this side especially. There we go. Very interesting bag. Okay, now we can push that down in there. And I don't know if she calls for top stitching first, but I would lean towards top stitching first because you want to make sure that you can get your hand in there if needed. This looks pretty good, really. I'm just clipping around my top seam. Your lining, or upper lining is inside. All right, so we are going to go ahead and top stitch. My lining is still open, so I'm going to top stitch. Let me grab my threads from the front. Now I'm going to start in the back here. I'm going to grab a good amount of thread. Okay, here we go. Where's my thread? My clip didn't want to come off. And just go as slow as you need to. I'm gonna crank around this one top part. Did you hear that? That was my key fob, don't worry. It sounded terrible. Okay, let's see how it looks. Oh, I just ran out of bobbin. How perfect is that? Ah, I have a new one ready. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at that top stitching. All right, let me change my bobbin. All right, so now we're gonna put our twist lock in. This is gonna be the male portion of the twist lock.
She tells you how far down to measure. I'm going to just tell you it's 3 inches down from the center. And make sure you're pulling your lining out. You don't want to get this into your lining. We're going to slide that in. I am going to use, I don't know what I do with them. Here it is. A piece of, extra piece of Lux Fuse for this, just to give it a little extra stability. Probably not necessary since I have Lux Fuse on the bag itself, but you know me, gotta do it. Be very careful with these. Okay, so I've got that on the front, and then I'm going to reach inside and put my piece of Lux Fuse and my washer, and then I'll cover that. I can see it with a piece of tape. Oh, it's not bad at all. There's the little boy. I want to, there's no way for me to show you, but you just kind of have to move stuff out of the way so you can get your washer on there. You might have to do a little by feel. Whoops, I lost my piece. You want to make sure it's nice and flat as well. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. Let me see. There you go. So that's what it looks like on the inside. Now I'm just going to flatten those prongs, and I'm going to fold them in. And then I will actually, I think I'm going to put, let me grab a little piece of fleece. So I grabbed a little of the Fabric Therapy self-adhesive fleece, and I'm just going to put that right over my prongs. So there you go. Right over my prongs. Okay. Now we can close off our bottom through our zipper pocket that we left open. So pull your zipper pocket out, and then you're going to pull your lining through your zipper pocket. And we're going to close that off just like we did the front. Sew across the bottom, and then make those little bitty box corners. All right, my bobbin was too full. I had to clean that up. That's okay. Happens. Don't overfill your bobbin. Now we're gonna box our little corners. They're very little corners. Very tiny little guys. And actually there is no boxing these corners. Let me double check this, hold on. All right, let's box our corners. It's just kind of an odd little box, so just do your best. Okay, and then trim that up. Perfect. Put your lining back down inside. And then close your zipper pocket. Trying to find my seams there. Okay, let's sew the bottom of the zipper pocket. Hold your threads, Barb. Okay, beautiful. Now put your zipper pocket back down in your zipper and fit your lining in there pretty good. Then the last things we have to do is add our female portion of our twist lock. See how this looks. So there's your lining. Zipper pocket on that side, and your slip pocket and your credit cards on this side, on the front. Nice, 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 nice. I see a small thread. Okay, now I think we're gonna add the twist lock portion. So let me just see what her pattern says. All right, so the next part is to put these little grommets in. And I got these from Chris at Simply Classic. They're push-in. So we're gonna put them here, and I just marked where I want them to go on the peak. So what I did was I just put my little grommet where I want it to be. I don't want it to get in my thread. So I put it right below my thread. And then I have, and I probably should have done this on the inside because that's where I'm going to be doing it from. So let me mark it again. Hold on. So mark from the inside. Otherwise, there's no way to, and that'll be covered on the outside, so I'm not too worried about it. I do have this 1/2-inch punch that I got on Amazon as part of a kit. And it's a perfect size. Perfect. So, let me do this one and see how we do. It's going to be very noisy, so I'll mute it while I do this. Got most of it. All right, so the piece that has the lip on it goes on the outside in. Oops, I'm so sorry. And the other piece goes on the inside. And they just supposedly snap. Let me get a piece of fabric. I'm pounding it because my kaya is pretty thick. There you go. Perfect. That's not going anywhere. So there's my grommet. So I'm going to repeat that on this side. Ugh. So instead of on my table, I'm using this little thing. And if you get this set, you get one that's a little thinner. I just use this because it came with my big grommet press. I just didn't want to get that out. All right, next step is to attach our female portion of our twist. All right, so I'm gonna put it down again. So I marked where I want my hole to be, and I kind of felt for it through my fabric and made a little dot. And then I traced my back piece here. And then I found what is closest to that hole. And that's how I'm gonna make my hole. All right, so there it is. It looks perfect. So I know that took a long time, but take your time and do it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. All right, so now we have these gate rings. These I think are 1.5-inch gate rings. And we're gonna add those to our grommets. I'm always challenged with gate rings. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to add our strap. I'll show you the other strap too, which would be perfect for this, really. There you go. There is your shoulder bag. Isn't that the cutest little guy? It's the Busta bag by Simply Classic. So it's not, doesn't have a wide gusset. It's not huge. So there's the strap we made, the 1.5 inch. All right, so on these straps, they're small. So that's why you use a gate ring. So you just put it on, push your gate ring down and put your strap on. And there you have a long strap or you have a short strap. So you can leave both of them on or you can interchange them. Let me go get all the stuff I carry today and I'll do that. All right guys, here's the Busta bag by Simply Classic. So you have your strap that we made, 1.5 inch, or you can have a chain strap. There's gate rings here and grommets on the side. Now everything in this bag is what I carry every day. It's already in here. Fits beautifully. So open your twist lock and there it is. Now it doesn't match because it's what I carry every day. My eyeglass case. I carry a notepad now. My purse pouch and my little Jordan pouch. And I didn't have my hand sanitizer, but it's out there and there's plenty of room for it to fit. Plenty. Plenty. So, you know, it depends on you and if you carry a big bag, this is not for you. Now there's credit card slots, a slip pocket, perfect for a cell phone. Plus you have a little zipper pocket. So there's two pockets plus credit card slots. Plenty of room. Now for me, I think I don't know. I think I would carry it with the wide strap. Let me take it off and I'll show you. I love these chain straps though, I have to say. All right, so everything that I carry, I love it actually, is in this bag. And it's not over, you could actually put more in there. Let me stand up. There you go. It's not huge, but it's plenty big. Look at that. I just love it. The Busta bag by Simply Classic. It is adorable. Now, what would I do different? I'm not sure I'd do anything different. This is the Kaya Faux Suede by Indo Love Creations. And I use Luxe Fuse for my interfacing. I think I'd do that again. I really do. I think the next one I make, I'm gonna use maybe some croc or snake skin. This would be really cute with that. But look at that. Cute as can be. And Thor did a fabulous job. Thank you, Thor. Appreciate it. All right, the Busta bag by Simply Classic. Go get the pattern and try it. You know, this would be a great bag for the kids today. They love smaller bags, but it's dressy enough. Depending on what fabric you choose, they'd love it. They'd love it. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate each one of you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.